Something that's always confused me about the fighting game community is the aversion to older games. And I think a lot of old heads in the FGC can pretty much agree on that statement because you hear a lot of people talking about how great these old games are, but you don't see a lot of people playing them. For example, take Tekken 8, right? A lot of people don't like the direction that the game is going, and I understand, I get it, but on the other hand, if you sit down, play in a lobby with some homies, none of that stuff really matters because at the end of the day, you're just having a good time. But then there's always that one dude.
Oh, well, I don't really like Tekken 8 because, I just don't want to give the game a chance and I just like complaining to hear my own voice.
Now, the tail end of that might not be true, but the point still stands that you will always have someone who will never want to play a modern fighting game, and if they do, they won't enjoy it. To which you'll just ask them, why not play an older fighting game? If you don't like Tekken 8, you can always go back to Tekken 7, and if you don't like Tekken 7, me personally, I always go back to Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. I'm sure if you asked around, you could probably find some people to play Tekken 6 with you, but I wouldn't be too familiar with that. Either way, that's 3 whole ass games that you have to play, rather than sitting around complaining about a game that you don't want to play. Another argument I hear a lot against modern fighting games is that they've been dumbed down for a wider audience and they've been made into a casual kind of deal, and I don't really understand that argument outside of like accessibility options, but even then, don't you want more people playing something that you enjoy so there's more people to enjoy it with? So then with that argument, if you think these modern games are getting dumbed down, why not go and play an older fighting game then? Similar with Tekken 8, you hear a lot of this hate getting thrown towards Street Fighter 6 as well. And the main argument levied towards Street Fighter 6 is always this, where's the true neutral or where's the true Street Fighter and all that. And again, I don't really understand that because the true Street Fighter is right there. You're playing it. You're playing Street Fighter, you know what I mean? Like, it can't get more truer than that. And what I believe they mean by that is they don't really like the drive meter mechanic or how some moves apparently skip neutral or whatever. To which I'll then just say, why not go and play the older Street Fighters? A lot of these arguments that I hear a lot of the time can just be solved by playing an older fighting game, which I feel like a lot of these people making these arguments really don't want to do. Honestly, it seems like they don't even want to play the modern fighting games, so why would they go back and play an older one, right? And this mentality is strange to me because, like I said earlier, you hear a lot of praise for older games, but you don't see too many people play them. The primest example of this happening, in my opinion, has to be before the Capcom Fighting Collection games had got re-released, and a lot of people on social media were talking about how there was no real way to play the Marvel vs. Capcom games on modern systems. And to some degree, I agreed. Unless you knew how to work Fightcade, and let's be honest, you probably don't, most people don't, you're not gonna know how to play these games. I too, dear viewer, was one of those people who cried and complained to the sun and stars that there was no way to play my favorite fighting game on modern systems. And imagine my shock and awe when Capcom decides, you know what, here's a little something for you guys. And they actually re-released the games on modern systems. And so the sticks foretold that in the Big 24, Marvel was to be free for the masses to play on all systems of any kind. And for a solid 2 to 3 weeks, this was true. A lot of people were playing this game, and then I think people started to realize that it's not really sweet out here like that. Imagine you have a lion, right? This lion has been locked up in captivity for years, and I'm talking years. The only kind of food it gets fed are like the tiniest little crumbs that it can barely sustain itself with. And one day, a giant flock of sheep just come flooding into those pens. You gotta imagine, that lion is going to slaughter everything. And that's exactly what happened to the newer players in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And you know what? I almost felt bad for them. And I say almost because at a certain point, you have to realize when you play an older fighting game, there's going to be people who never moved on. They're going to keep playing that fighting game and they're going to hone their skills to the highest levels. To this day, I'll never really understand why so many people wanted this game to be re-released for modern systems if they didn't really want to put the time into improving and getting onto the level of some of those old heads. And I get it. That's a lot of time that you have to catch up on for some of these people. But at the same time, if you play fighting games, you kind of understand that's just part of the journey, right? Like, you understand it's going to take a while for you to get to that level, but the journey is why you're playing. Whether or not you're good or bad, it's the in-between moments of, like, you know, do you see improvement? Do you see a character that you really, really like, or, you know, stuff like that? And I'll never understand why a lot of people kind of rob themselves of those moments. And it's the same thing with Street Fighter Third Strike. Just like Marvel 2, Third Strike is regarded as one of the best fighting games ever made, or at least a lot of people tell you that. And I'm inclined to agree, but I also think that both of these games are extremely hard to learn at the highest level. And because of that, I think they scare off a lot of people into learning them. And honestly, I think that's really unfortunate because I suck at these games. I gotta be honest, I am not that great. In Third Strike, I main Sean and I main Q. And if you know anything about Third Strike, you know that Sean is one of the worst characters in the game. But I have fun with them. And so that's how I play. I just like to have fun. But at the end of the day, I know that not everyone's going to be like me and not everyone's going to want to play for fun. And that's okay. So I'll leave you with 2 tips. Tip number 1, please, and I am begging you, please, view these modern fighting games as their own thing. What I mean by this is you can't expect these modern games to play and feel like these older games that you want them to feel like. With all these new tag fighters on the horizon, a lot of people are going to hold them to the standard of Marvel 2, yet a lot of people haven't actually played Marvel 2 to really do that justifiably. And even if you have played Marvel 2, don't hold these new tag fighters to that same standard. Because Marvel 2 is its own special thing, and all these other games coming out are their own special things. And trying to compare the two, it's just not going to end well for anyone, really. And tip number 2, go play an older fighting game. I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, if you have a working brain inside your head, you can actually play and probably do very well in these games. And honestly, to me at least, the best part about these games is that so many people have played them already, so much learning material exists, and if you didn't want to play with anybody and you just want to be a lab rat, you could really just pick a character from any game and just spend hours and hours in the lab and no one would blame you for it. So please, go play an older fighting game. They're honestly really fun. And that's all I have to say for now, my friend. Go play an older fighting game. Go kick somebody's ass with a character that no one even plays. Shake up the meta. Do something. I don't know. I'm trying this new outro thing out, you know. I'm gonna sit here and talk until the credits go by, or at least until, you know, I decide that I want to, you know, end the video. I don't know what I was gonna say, honestly. I thought I could pull a thought up from, like, you know, my brain, but I just got done telling you to go play an older game and to enjoy the games that exist now. So, you know, I don't really. That was kind of scripted, and this isn't really scripted. So, you know, I don't really know what to do. Pretty sure by now the credits are over. I don't think the video was that long for me to put that many songs in. I don't think there's gonna be anything up on the screen either. So, I don't know. Unless you're just here listening to me talk. I mean, you know, that's cool and all, but, you know, pretty sure I've said, you know, at least like 10 times. Someone should keep a, you know, counter down in the comments. Okay, I'm done. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.